yell at me all the time when I'm playing Madden. I'm just trying to have a good time.
Oh, you called me.
Behind the scenes, it's going on all the time.
Heart was beating so fast.
Big thanks to Verizon Business for making today's show happen. We couldn't do it without them. Small business owners, we know you're always working to step up your game. And Verizon Small Business Days are the perfect time to make that happen. April 21st through the 27th. Their experts will hook you up with free tech check, killer deals, and even advice personalized to your business. So what are you waiting for? Call 1-800-483-4428 or visit verizon.com/smallbusiness to lock in your appointment today.
What's up, everybody? How we doing? We got some special guests here. I'm Cam Heyward.
And I'm Hayden Walsh.
And this is not just football. I want to say thank you so much for coming out. We have a special episode live from Green Bay for the NFL Draft, and it's going to be fun today.
Yeah, we got three very special guests joining us today. We got the 2024 Walter Payton Man of the Year and the Jaguars defensive lineman Eric Armstead. We've got former two-time Super Bowl champ Max Starks of the Pittsburgh Steelers and NFL CBS analyst Charles Davis joining the show today.
Before we get into that, I want to give a big thanks to Verizon Business for making this show possible. They're the real MVP. Verizon Business is here to support your small business with experts right in your neighborhood. Whatever your business needs, they got you.
Yeah, and actually another thing I want to say before we start the show, we're going to do an Ask Cam Anything segment at the end of the show. So go to our Not Just Football Instagram, throw your questions in there, and Cam has to answer it. So if you want to ask about Aaron Rodgers, if you want to ask about anything else going on, feel free to throw it in there, okay? Oh, Charles got a question. So just go to the Instagram, Charles. You got it. Yeah, okay, you got it.
Charles, we will answer every question you have.
All right, so let's start it, Cam.
All right.
I said his name. Do you have any update? Is Aaron Rodgers going to sign?
No. Nothing has happened. I think we've talked about it a little bit. I don't think we give enough patience to people. I think in this day and age with social media and everything, we kind of just expect an answer right there, right now. And I don't know where this is going to end. I don't know if he's ever going to be a Steeler. I don't know if he's already a Steeler. But I think let's just show some patience. The man said he has things going on in his private life, and I'd like to keep his private as private.
So you're willing to wait?
I guess.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go bigger picture, Steelers draft. What would you like to see the team do this draft?
Selfishly, I want more D linemen, and this is probably the draft to do it. There's guys like Harmon from Oregon. Mm-hmm. There's also Grant from Michigan. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we're not going to talk about that team.
Okay. Yeah.
I said the state. I didn't say the school. But there's some good talent. 1 through 7, you can find a good D lineman, and would love to see that addressed early.
Do you have any stories from the past drafts that you like to think about, or maybe your own personal draft? What do you think about?
I think about, in the back of my head, before I got drafted, I was always worried about being the Brady Quinn in the draft room, being in the green room, the last one that's not called, and, having my family there. So I personally thought, let's bring this back home. Let's have my family around. So if I embarrass myself, we can embarrass ourselves together in my home. And we had a great time. My friends were there. They're texting me when they shouldn't be texting me. I'm expecting them to call, asking me if I'm going to go to the movies after. I'm like, bro, I'm not even thinking about that right now. But I just remember seeing that 412 come across the screen. And, I get emotional. My family gets emotional. We know it's a Pittsburgh area code. And it was so loud in our basement where we had it. I couldn't even hear Mike T or Mr. Rooney talk. And I actually hung up on them and had to call them right back. But, everything works out. But I remember being very stressful. You remember that day, too.
I was not at the house, but I remember you were not answering the calls. You were very nervous. Everybody I talked to at that party, you were very nervous.
You weren't at the party?
I was not there. No, I was in college still. So, I couldn't make it back. Wow. It sounded like that was a stressful time.
Thanks for being a good friend.
You're welcome. I couldn't afford to fly back at that point. Spirit Airlines was not around yet, so I don't know what you want me to do, all right? Hey, come on.
Yeah, okay. All right, we're going to stop talking about me and start talking about the real guests you want to see. I want to give a big round of applause for first, the Walter Payton Man of the Year, winner of 2024, Eric Armstead. And Super Bowl winner, offensive lineman of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Maximus Starks. Is it Maximus Starks? I just made that up.
Well, it's Maximilian, but who's counting?
Oh, wow.
It's a lot less letters, so it's cool.
Sounds rich. All right. All right, we got two big dudes up there. Let's talk about, you think you could block him?
Why would you put me on the spot like that? Like I am an old man. I'm in retirement. I've loved the fact that my body feels healthy. Yes, I can block anybody. I mean, that's just how I feel. I mean, I'm an offensive lineman. I'm not gonna run away from him. I might not win every time, but I'm gonna fight every time.
Wow, fighting is up your alley.
Look who's talking. Look who's
We'll
talking.
get into that. We'll get into the fighting questions. We will get there.
Eric, you think you get past him, right?
For sure, man. You always got to bet on yourself. Max was a great player, though. I remember playing with him on Madden and stuff. I remember seeing him on the rosters and the depth charts. But
let me pull out my timepiece.
I'm definitely betting on myself, man. Come on.
How are you attacking Max Starks, though, if you're going against him?
I got long arms.
Well, it'll be a matchup of length for sure. You know, he's a taller guy. I'm definitely gonna work my hands though. I feel like he's gonna try to get his hands on me. I probably work a lot of forklifts. Were you a puncher or a grabber?
Oh no, it's called clutching. That's the gray zone between holding and not holding. So I was a master clutcher.
Okay, and let's give some context here. Max is way smaller than he is when he was playing.
Yeah.
Max was very heavy, and so just having to deal with Max on a regular basis, you're expending a lot of energy.
Yeah. And I boxed a lot back then, so
I don't think the boxing really helped.
The boxing helped because so it didn't help. It didn't help.
All right,
remember also Cam was a rookie when I was an old vet, so that's why we have this repartee.
Yes.
Because when he came in, I mean, he lived up to his dad's name, Ironhead, and he headbutted you every time he could.
Is that true? You're not denying. No, you're not denying this. I mean,
a bull rush is some part of that, but I do remember. I'll admit this. So, my rookie year, I come in and we were lockout babies, so we didn't get a chance to go through mini camp. It was the first time I met most of my teammates the first week of camp. And I didn't know how practice went. I'm like, it's the NFL, is it different? You don't know what to expect. And I'm going out there, and Max and the other O-linemen, they're kind of just pushing and shoving after the play, like O-linemen like to do.
Allegedly.
And so I didn't do anything at first. And I came to the sideline. My coach, John Mitchell, came up to me and was like, you can fight. You can protect yourself. I'm not telling you to be a wuss. I want you to defend yourself. That's all I needed. And so I handled it from there. And I started a couple of fights. But the only thing I remember about this, and this made me feel like I was welcomed, I got jumped right after that. And it was the whole O-lineman. But then you watch Casey Hampton come from the sideline and start ripping people off. And so I felt like I had the approval of my D-line after that. So appreciate that, Max.
I mean, so there was a long thought out thing back in the past before Cam got there. We used to give out shirts between the O-line and the D-line. It was called Fight Club. And so we actually had Fight Club shirts. And so we would give it out to whoever started the fight, whoever finished the fight. So it was a black shirt if you started the fight, gold shirt if you finished the fight. And so, we had to get rid of it because obviously there was a connotation with it, and then guys were arguing about what color shirt they would get. But, like you said, I mean, that's what it is. You want to make sure that you feel you belong to your group, and you want to get your group's approval. So, there was very tough, nasty defense that Cam's trying to become a part of, right? I mean, when you think of the Steelers' defense over the years, I mean, it's the steel curtain, and it's the number one defense back in 2008. You know, there's all these great personalities, so you don't want to get bullied around. And so for Cam came in, he understood the assignment, and us as offensive line, we had pride because, like, we got to see these dudes every day.
Yeah.
And, you know, we want to make sure that we're measuring up because, you know, they have this attention, so we have to meet that intensity on a daily basis. And, you know, look at that now. I mean, 14 years later, you know, you're still doing it. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's a blessing to watch the growth and what he's done and how he's matured. He doesn't hit people as much in camp anymore, but it's that leadership that you want to pass on between your teams. So
I still fight a little bit here.
Yes, you do. You talk a lot more though than you used to.
I do.
Yeah. You incite a lot more.
Yes. Eric, did you ever have to deal with any of that fighting?
No, you have your scuffles in training camp. Recently, you know, a couple years ago when I was on the Niners, it was like people were chirping all off season. And for now, I feel like O-line, D-line really don't be fighting as much. It'd be the DBs and the receivers that be starting all the fights now. And so our DBs and have been chirping with the receivers all off season, like, yeah, we're gonna get y'all in training camp. And so like the first practice, there was a huge brawl, everyone going at it, but O-line, D-line didn't really get into it because, you know, bro, you know how we be sometimes, man. It's too tiring to do all that stuff, bro. Like, y'all, so we leave that to the light guys.
Yeah, it's always the younger guys that fight the most. So we're here for draft. Do you guys have any draft stories or draft memories from your years back?
Yeah. I didn't go to the draft. Like you said, I was scared. Like my draft mock, whatever, was a wide range. I'm like, man, I could go from 10 all the way to the second round. I don't know. I'm not taking that chance to get embarrassed. So I was at the crib in Sacramento. You know, I had a party too, but I wasn't with the people watching the draft for the party because I didn't want to be embarrassed at the party neither. So I watched the draft at the hotel with my family, and then you know, we had cameras there and stuff. It was a great moment, and then we had a party like 10 minutes away, and then I joined everyone. Everyone got together, and it was a cool experience though, because it was like when I walked in the room, it was like I saw like everyone I knew in life. Like I saw my youth basketball coach, I saw a teacher of mine, I saw family and friends. So I got emotional. Obviously, it's a big, huge goal and dream that you achieved, and just seeing everyone it seemed like everyone I knew in life be there to celebrate that with me was special. So yeah, I was at the crib, I was at home in Sacramento and had a great time. And then also too, which was dope, one of my best friends, Shaq Thompson, he got drafted 6 picks after me, and he was in Sacramento as well too. So he came over and joined my party, and we hung out together all night. He had his Carolina Panthers hat on, and I had my Niners hat on at the time, and it was a lot of fun.
I didn't have as much fun. I wasn't a first-round draft pick, so all of these. But you know what I can say? I was drafted day one during the NFL draft because back in my day, in the 2004 NFL draft.
That's when they had leather helmets, right?
No. We had the single bar across the front. But the first 3 rounds were the first day. So That's why I was in there. And so it was on a Saturday. So I was drafted way into the night of that day. And so what I had done, I did this purposely because I was like, I don't know where I'm going to go. Like you, I had a wide range. I was like, I could have been middle first round all the way to the 3rd round, and every projection was like different. There was no consistent projection. So I planned my draft party for Sunday, the day after. So it's like, worst case scenario, if I'm getting drafted day 2, everybody's there. But if day 1, at least I know where I'm gonna be and have the party afterwards. But I was at my best friend's house. He had graduated college like 2 years before me, so he had a house. And so me and my brothers went over there, and we all hung out watching the draft the whole day. And my mom's calling me like every 10 minutes, like, did you get picked? I'm like, Mom, you have the same TV on as me. It's not ahead, it's not behind. I'm like, no, I didn't get drafted. And at that time, I thought I was going to Philadelphia because Philly interviewed me at the Senior Bowl Combine, and they also sent me up for a private visit up at the team facility, and then also they came and did like 2 private workouts. So I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm definitely going to Philly. Like, hello, Chickies and Pete's and cheesesteaks, right? And so draft day comes, they move up, they take a tackle, but it's Sean Andrews from Arkansas that they went up, and he ended up playing offensive guard for them. So I was like, oh, well, I don't know where I'm going. And so I tell this story all the time that the only contact I had with Pittsburgh before the draft was Coach Cowher coming into the weight room during our pro day, and he was only there for my weigh-in. And then after that, I didn't see him the rest of the day. So it was crazy. I didn't do any interviews with him, didn't visit, none of that with Pittsburgh. And then I get the call into the night. I'm like, man, I'm just gonna get ready for day 2 because we're 74 picks in at this point. And I was like, man, we're just gonna, go out. We'll just start tomorrow. And a phone call comes, same 412 area code, except for I don't know what 412 area code is because I don't know Pennsylvania area code. So my best friend, Josh Casser, he was born there. So Josh's like, pick it up. That's Pittsburgh. And and he rushes in, turns the TV back on. And so I'm at the front door, like in the doorway. Hello, and it says, hold, Coach Cowher's making a decision. I'm like, wait a second. Hold, you called me. I'm like, why do I have to hold? And then next voice came on. It was Coach Cowher. He said, hey, Max, I just got one question for you, How do you feel about playing in cold? Because obviously I'm from Florida, never played in snow, only played in snow as a kid, never been in it before in my life. So I'm like, is there a football out there? I said, I'll be there. He said, good, because you're a Pittsburgh Steeler. I was like, oh, thanks, Coach. And then when turned on and saw that I was drafted. But yeah, it was a crazy day, but the emotions, and when I look back on it, like, God knew what he was doing, when he put me in that position because, I had pride. I was like, man, I know I can be. And at that time, I was the 4th tackle taken in the draft. 4th tackle now doesn't make it past like pick 25 in today's NFL. But back then, I remember every guy that was drafted in front of me, and it was my point at that point to prove that I could play longer than all of those guys.
Who were the guys that were drafted in front of you?
Robert Gallery, Vernon Carey, and Sean Andrews were the 3 tackles taken before me.
Did you last longer than all of them?
I did.
Go.
I did.
All right, Eric, I want to talk to you. You won the Walter Payton Man of the Year this year. We actually talked to you the day you won it. I will say, now I feel like we both felt you were a little nervous or you didn't know what was going to happen. Did you know you were going to win the Walter Payton Man of the Year when you saw the video coming up? Did you have a speech ready? What was going through your head when you saw you won?
No, I had no clue. And luckily, I did do the pod that day because I was like, Cam, bro, did they tell you or not last year? He's like, nah, they didn't tell me. I said, oh, dang. Now I started really getting nervous because at first I was like, maybe they'll tell me. So it's the day of. I probably didn't win. Like, it's cool. I'm going to enjoy the experience. And then when Cam said, nah, they didn't tell me neither, it just popped up. And I was like, oh, dang. So now I really got to be prepared. So I didn't really have, anything. I kind of thought through some things in my head that I wanted to say to people with the opportunity and the platform, and just try to let it ride from there. But my heart was beating so fast. And then once Drew Brees got up there and was like, defender front, I said, oh, dang, that's me. Dang, I'm gonna have to go up there and talk now. But my nerves calmed down once I got up on stage and hopefully delivered, a good message.
You delivered. It was a great speech. Yeah. Great speech.
So.
I gotta ask though, after you got the award, what was the craziest moment that's happened since then?
One of the coolest things was my wife had reached out to people to write me messages. And so people got online, they wrote me people that I love and care about and that she reached out to. They all wrote me messages and she got them put into letter form, envelopes. So I have 150 letters from people that I'm just going through and opening and reading. And that's probably one of the most special gifts I've ever gotten for anything in my life. So
gosh. I remember so that night, I didn't know I was getting drafted. I mean, I know I was getting, I was winning the award. And so, you're in the stands and, they're talking and they bring Prince Harry up. And I'm like, oh, man, whoever wins, they're going to be next to Prince Harry. And I'm like, that's really cool. So then my video starts going around, and I'm like, oh, shoot, I got to go up there with Prince Harry. And I was like, oh, shoot, I got to talk. And then, like, everything just starts going in my head. Because I remember telling everybody, my wife, and I'm like, my mom, I'm like, guys, it's not happening. They would have told me by then. Yeah. Like, the year before, Dak Prescott had won, and I looked back and I saw he had a teleprompter. Yeah. And so I saw all the words. I'm like, okay, so they probably told him beforehand. So I'm not thinking I won this time. And it happened, and I was in utter shock of that moment. Like, it was almost euphoric because you just don't expect it in that. And I go up there, and the first thing I'm like, that's Prince freaking Harry. And I was so thrown off, I couldn't even like be in my body in that moment. But it's one of those moments I always remember. And then my mom was like making like T-shirts with me and Prince Harry, and I just felt very uncomfortable. like she has a good heart, but like I don't need pictures of me and Prince Harry printed up on T-shirts everywhere. But it was fun. I got to ask, though. We were talking about the draft. Do you remember who was drafted before you?
Who was drafted before me?
D-lineman.
D-lineman-wise.
I remember it was Leonard Williams, who's still in the league balling. Great player. Danny Shelton, big guy out of Washington. Dante Fowler, edge rusher from Florida. He was cold in college, too. Mm-hmm. And good player. He had 10 sacks last year. I think those were the D linemen. But my draft experience, I thought I was going to go to San Diego Chargers. And I think they had pick 15. No, the Niners had pick 15, and the Chargers had 17. And the Chargers, they were always talking to me. The D-line coach came and did my private workout. He's like, hey, I'm going to try to draft you. So it came up to then. And I knew that they liked me, and I knew the Niners liked me. So it came to pick 15, and then there was a trade. The Niners traded back to 17. So I was like, oh, dang. Well, what's going to happen now? But it was with the Chargers, so I was like, oh, dang. And then they drafted Melvin Gordon, and I was like, all right, so now I'm going to the Niners, which was, life-changing. And I'm from Sacramento, the closest team to the crib, and it was an amazing ride there in the Bay.
Yeah, personally, I know every D-line.
I was going to say, it's an amazing trick professional athletes can do. They know every single person drafted right before. I was just about to ask you. You know everybody, right? You know.
So there's Cam Jordan, there's Marcel Darius, there's Nick Fairley, Alden Smith.
Wilkerson? Was Wilkerson before?
Muhammad Wilkerson was before.
Kerrigan.
Phil Taylor, Ryan Kerrigan, J.J. Watt.
Damn, a lot of guys went before you.
Best draft class ever.
It really is one of the best draft classes ever.
Trying to outlast them all. I think that might have been all.
Did you say Vaughn? Not really. He's outside linebacker.
Yeah, Vaughn's outside. Yeah. But Nick Fairley. We had a lot of D linemen drafted in that class.
Claiborne. Did you say Adrian Claiborne too? Did you say him?
I didn't. Did Claiborne?
He was ahead of you. Yeah, he was ahead of you too.
Too many.
Well, take us back to his rookie year. You said he liked to fight a lot. What was he like as a rookie? Give me a Cam story as a rookie.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, Cam was tenacious, but he was also, we always called him Baby Huey because we realized he didn't understand what his true strength was yet, because there's that young bull strength, and then there's the grown man strength. So at that time, like his rookie year, like Cam was strong, but Cam also walked on his tippy toes, right? So
I still do.
You still do, but so we're like, man, he doesn't realize the power he can generate. So at that time, like you talked about, he had a bull rush, but we're like, man, like when you take that bull rush on, you're like, holy crap! But he was expending a lot of energy at that time, right? Yeah, I mean, when you're young, you just got endless amounts of energy.
Yeah, but then they put you through everything to get rid of that energy.
Exactly. So. I was about to say, but he never came off the field. So it's like, do show team. Do in the second unit. All right, now go do special teams, right? We had to do show team special teams. And so, but Cam never relented. Like, he was always there always fresh, and he always had that chip on his shoulder. It was like he was just pissed off, and I think it was probably because of us more often than not, because a couple of times might have hit him in the face mask with an open palm, but that's another story. But the one thing I appreciate, like Cam didn't come in with an ego. And I think that's the biggest thing that I think, especially when we see these young men, their lives will be changed forever, this evening, is, he came in and he truly wanted to learn. Like he never assumed anything. He just said, hey, I'm just an open book. Let's fill the pages. And I think when you have a unit like he came into, like you said, you can look at a Casey Hampton, you can look at a Brett Kiesel, and Aaron Smith, James Harrison, and all these different personalities, seeing Troy on the back half, James Ferrier, and company. I mean, you had so many guys to draw from, and that was one of the things. He took it all up, and now you see it, and the leadership that you see on Sundays, and when you think of the Steelers, you think of that young man over there. That's what it is. It's about truly coming into this thing, not owning the moment, but earning the moment, and that's what you did.
Well, it's funny you talk about that. I think my ego got checked. Once I got drafted, I was like on a Delta flight and I had like a middle seat. And I just remember thinking like, okay, this is a little different than that. And then like you get off the plane and you start going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I'm like, oh man, they got a defense. They got everything. Like they've got D linemen. And I remember just being in the meeting with my D-line coach and him being like, you good at special teams? I'm like, special teams? What do you mean? I'm trying to play. He was like, well, that's the only way you're going to see the field because I already got my starters. And so I was like, oh, okay. So it was a fresh reminder that I got a lot to learn. And I couldn't assume that I was going to be the starter. So I was always appreciative of just being around the guys and learning from just being a sponge around those guys.
I feel like I had the most first round pick rookie year of all time. First off, I got drafted. They gave me number 69.
Ooh, cool number.
First round. Nice.
So defensive.
Nice. Gave me number 69. I was on KOR in the wedge.
Yep, the wedge.
Special teams, and my first preseason game ever, they left me out there to die. I played like 50 snaps in a row. Just left me out there to just completely, we're just gonna see what this kid got, and I almost literally died in that game because I was so tired when all the other vets and stuff were just over there chilling. But yeah, I feel like I did not have a first round pick type experience.
That first preseason for any rookie, don't expect to come off the field. They are going to try and run you into the ground.
It's death by 1,000 plays. Because especially when you go to like a veteran squad, like the vets aren't coming in the first preseason game. They may give you a ceremonious like one series. Then it's like, rest of y'all better drink some Gatorade and get some IVs because you're not coming out. And like you said, and in a preseason game, you're still trying to get the feel and the rhythm of the team. So there's all these 3 and outs. There's these moments. So you get about 70 plays in the game, and so you're right. You die as a rookie, and then you realize when you wake up, you're good.
All right, Max. I want to ask you, y'all's Super Bowl run in 2008. Did you think Santonio caught that ball?
Yes. Yes, I do. But mind you, I was at left tackle. So, and it was thrown to the right side of the end zone. So my back was turned because actually the previous play, we ran the same exact play to the left. So I saw it and I was like, oh man, this is why, because I'm blocking the guy and it's Bertram Berry. And I kind of look over and I'm like, oh, he's about to, and then he dropped it. I was like, dang. And then we went back to the huddle. Like, all right, we're running the same play. It was like to the right. so my back was turned and I was blocking Bertrand and I just heard the crowd erupt. And then I look up at the big board because we're in Tampa Bay, like we're at the end zone with the pirate ship. So I kind of look up and I see it. I'm like, okay, I see the first foot. But the second foot's attached to the first foot, which is still in the ground of the first foot. So does that, I feel like that has to count. That has to count. So then I went and ran and picked up Ben and celebrated with him. And the review, we were just sitting there. We're like, come on, man. But I also knew we had 2 more plays to get it in. Yeah. So I was like, we could either kill more time and Arizona has even less time, or they just give it to us and then just sick the dogs out on defense.
We're going to wrap up here pretty soon. I want to ask, what did Ben say before that run? that drive, because once Larry Fitzgerald scored, it was a little bleak. What did Ben say going out for that drive?
No, Ben said, Ben just kind of echoed, what had been said on the sidelines. He said, we're built for this. Like, we've been through this. Guys, just block, and I'm going to get that ball out. He's like, just block for me. Because you have to remember the series before that, we took a holding penalty in the end zone with Hartwig. So he was like, just hold up. Just give me enough time. I'm going to get the ball down there. And then, of course, Santonio was walking up and down the sideline talking to himself. But it ended up being the right thing, right? He's like, let's go do something great. Let's go do something great. And he went out and was great and won the Super Bowl MVP and, of course, that touchdown. But it was just, we were never nervous in that moment. And I think Ben was just like, hey, just give me time. We're going to make this happen.
All right, before you guys leave, we're going to play a game. We call it This or That. I want to get the crowd involved as well, so feel free to make fun of their opinions to this. All right, cheese curds or mott sticks?
Mott sticks.
No, cheese curds, baby. Give me
I'm
cheese
with
curds.
Max on that one. I'm with Max on that
Every
one.
day.
All right, Eric's 0 for 1 right now. Do you want to try some? You want to go ahead and try these?
Do you want to be
Let's
convinced?
go. Get this man a cheese curd.
Yeah, get him a cheese. I'm going to take the boat. I'm retired. I'm not an active
you're
NFL
right. The boat
player.
sounds
I can
good,
have
too.
more
I
than
agree.
one.
I guess I should. What do you think?
I might can convert.
Oh.
There we go.
Converted. All right. Oh, we're giving up the fans too. Tell us what you think.
There we go.
All right, next one. Waffle House or IHOP?
I'm from the South, baby. Waffle House all day.
Oh, no. He's going to be 0 for 2.
I'll take Waffle House.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I mean, listen, the stickier the floor, the better the food. I'm just saying.
And that's why we have an O-lineman up here. Next one. In-N-Out or Shake Shack?
In-N-Out.
Something about that. Listen, I went to the first Shake Shack that was in New York behind this curtain in the Parker Meridian, and that burger changed my life. I'm not going to lie. So I got to go Shake Shack.
Cam thinks In-N-Out's overrated.
I
Which
do.
I don't know how that's possible. It's not overrated.
The animal style and all that crap, it's not better than, Shake
I'll give you
Shack.
the fries, but the burger, just the pure
So
burger.
good.
Oh, man. You're missing out.
For the price, can't beat that.
That's my thing too. It's the price, man. It's not that bad.
All fresh, all natural.
I agree. I'm with Eric on
I'm saying
this.
it's the same thing. It's the same.
It
It's a
is.
smash burger. I like bacon on mine, and In-N-Out
and they
don't got
butter the
bacon.
buns.
We're very fat up here.
Yeah. This is
We're all very fat. All right. Zaxby's or Cane's?
Canes.
Hey, I'm a Cane's person.
I mean, I have to go with Cane's. Nobody in the South yell at me about not picking Zaxby's.
I've only tried Zaxby's twice, but Cane's hit every time. The times I tried Zaxby's, I was in South Carolina. It didn't really hit for me.
Okay.
It's the Texas toast and that sauce, man. That pepper, whatever that pepper sauce is.
Mm-hmm.
Bratwurst or hot dog?
Oh, brat. Absolutely.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'll go hot dog.
Hot dog? Oh, no.
wow. The crowd's really split on that one. Okay, that's a really split
How many
room on
times
that.
are you really eating a brat's worth or something? Like,
Man,
how
beer
much-
batter that thing, and your
about
life
to
will
say,
be
I'm
different,
saying
man.
it's a little more like a hot dog is just every time it's going to treat you right.
And
Like,
so is a brat.
So it's a brat.
so you get on the grill, you gonna put brats on there every time?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Cam, he didn't come to any of our O-line parties back in the day in Pittsburgh.
I'm burger and hot dogs.
I'm going to wrap this up pretty quick. Best Oregon team versus best Florida team.
I mean,
I'm just go ahead.
I mean, which national championship team do you want, Cam?
That's a fair point.
I'm gonna go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm gonna answer that one. Yeah, we wasn't competing with them boys. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. I'll take that one away. Pumpkin pie or sweet potato pie?
No, sweet potato all day.
Don't do this.
It's really a neither for me. I'm a peach cobbler guy, so
That's all right.
I love how he's
I
like
that.
getting in the deep thought about this too.
yeah, I'm not a big fan of either. I'm gonna go peach cobbler or some cookies or something before I go with one of those.
I'm with Eric on that one. I'll go peach cobbler over both, but
There was no peach cobbler to begin with.
He just made it. He's a Walter Payton Man of the Year.
He did
He created a category.
Oh, so we just forgot about me. Thanks. All right, last one, and we'll wrap this up. Taco Bell or McDonald's?
Jeez, that was quick. Quick.
I haven't been to neither in quite some time.
I hope so.
And
There you go.
I'm gonna go McDonald's because I'm gonna go there and get a McFlurry or something. Yeah, I'll go McDonald's.
Okay.
Yeah, I live in Arizona. I'm running for the border every time. Taco Bell for me.
All right, that's it for it. I want to give a round of applause for both Eric and
Thanks, man. Thanks for coming on, Eric. Appreciate it.
Fox Creative.
This is advertiser content from Verizon Business.
Hey, Vinny, you know the draft isn't the only exciting thing happening this April.
Yep, Verizon Small Business Days are back, now through the 27th. It's the perfect time to level up your business with the latest tech. They've got experts ready to give you personalized advice and some great deals just for you and your business.
So if you've got a small business, you need to get in on Verizon Small Business Days.
And the best part? The experts are right in your neighborhood, ready to help whenever you need them.
Because just like in the draft, having the right team makes all the difference.
Exactly. So don't miss out on this. Book your appointment today.
Verizon Small Business Days are happening now through April 27th. Call 1-800-483-4428 or visit verizon.com/smallbusiness for more info. What are you waiting for?
And now we are going to be joined by the great announcer for college football for how many years? More than he wants to say. And now he's transitioning over to NFL, where he'll be barely higher regarded. Please give a round of applause for Charles Davis.
Yeah, right here.
Right here. All right, you guys have heard Charles Davis talk plenty of times. Mm-hmm. I don't think we're gonna have any problems filling this segment up because Charles has got some great takes and he's called some great games. What's your most favorite game of all time?
Before I get to that, did Eric take off already?
Yeah, I think
he
he's
did.
Gone. Yeah, I think he's gone.
We forgot to give him a geography lesson. Where he is. Bratwurst versus hot dog. It's like, dude, not hard. Yeah. Cheese curds versus mott sticks.
Just lie.
Come on,
Just
man.
lie.
Understand you're surrounded.
Did you see me squirming? I was doing the St. Vitus dance over there on the chairs. I was like, oh, help me. And he was deep in thought,
Oh,
too.
he was. He was thinking, the peach cobbler, he was just like, just locked in.
Peach cobbler and cookies, and I'm over there, and you're asking. I'm singing the old McDonald's song to myself. Hold the pickles, hold the lettuce, special orders. And I've got all this going through my head, and you're taking me back. And I saw the movie The Founder, which was about Ray Kroc at McDonald's, and they started like where we are with In-N-Out, the efficiency, small menu. Not many choices. Up there, boom, get your meal, move on. They had it down to a fine science and seconds on how you would go in and get your order. That's where the term fast food came from. That's what it all began with. And I'm just like, and Eric's like, I loved it. I like how contemplative he was in the whole deal. But if you're asking about the game, back to your actual question, probably the one that people remember the most what I did in college football was the Fiesta Bowl, Boise State, Oklahoma.
Oh.
Because that's the one that put Boise State truly on the map.
Yep.
There were so many crazy things down the stretch. Boise controlled the entire ball game, the entire game. Adrian Peterson had gotten hurt midseason, broken a collarbone. This was his first game back with Oklahoma, was the championship game. And they got there. They had trouble with their quarterback. They had a quarterback. They'd moved to receiver. He had to come back and play quarterback. Oklahoma had a heck of a year. Got there, and here's Boise State controlling the game. And then late in the game, Oklahoma makes their run. Peterson hadn't played in weeks, and now his legs are fresh. And down the stretch, here he comes. And they make the big play, and they go ahead. And then if you remember this game, that's when Boise State said, okay, let's go to the full playbook.
Yep.
And, you had the hook and ladder out in midfield. You had, the reverses, had a reverse pass for a touchdown. And then they decided to go for 2. And I was fortunate that I called it ahead of time because I watched Boise State punch the entire game. And the first play of overtime, Adrian Peterson goes 25 yards like a hot knife through butter. And I was like, they're done. They have nothing left. So in my head, I'm thinking, if Boise State scores, there's no more overtime. You got to go for 2, either win it or lose it. That's all you've got. So as soon as they scored, I just jumped in on my partner and said, they should go for 2 right here. This is it. I was like, please let me be right. And after the game, my boss said to me, because they went for 2, they ran the Statue of Liberty. Win the ball game. My boss goes, man, when you went out there and said go for 2, I said, boy, Charles pushed all his chips right to the middle of the table, didn't he? And he said, if you'd been wrong, and I was like, oh, would have been a short career. So fortunate that way.
All right, we got to bring you up to this draft now. There's a lot of really good prospects. What do you think about these quarterbacks? The top 3, Dart, Shedeur, and Cam Ward.
Yeah, I like them. Here's what happens with a lot of what happens in a draft. What's the term that we're all into now? Recency bias?
Yes.
Okay, recency bias is real, right? We just saw it. It just happened. It's on our minds. Last year's draft, the first 12 picks, anybody remember how many quarterbacks, first 12 picks? Close, very close. Nice job. There you go, Jetta. You got it, 6. Well done. Look at him wearing Jetta's number right there. Looking good. Are you the guys that got pulled out of school today? Yeah. Got a cool dad. Dad went by school and got him to bring him here. I bet mom doesn't know. But anyway,
mom's here.
Mom's
right there.
Mom's in on it too.
You got a cool mom
You got a cool mom too. Yeah, there you go.
So you gonna sign the note tomorrow? Sign Jetta's mom. Anyway, there were 6 quarterbacks taking the first 12 picks last year. And normally, as you guys know, when you have that many quarterbacks, usually that's not the norm anyway. Mm-hmm. But at the top of the draft, let's say we take 2 quarterbacks, one usually does well and the other one really struggles. It's almost a 50-50. Last year, think about it, guys. J.J. McCarthy didn't play because he was hurt. The other 5 all played last year. Yep. To varying degrees of success, but all of them showed why they got picked. One of them's a Rookie of the Year, Jaden Daniels. Bo Nix was in the running for Rookie of the Year with Denver. Drake May took over about midseason and played really well down the stretch, right? Caleb Williams, Chicago struggled, but you saw the flashes of why he was picked number 1 overall. You absolutely saw that.
Yeah.
I mean, and then Michael Penix didn't get to play till late, but he won a big ball game late to keep him in playoff contention, et cetera, et cetera. This year's class, because of that, they look like it pales in comparison. But Cam Ward is one of the great stories. 0-star recruit. Did you hear me? 0. Goes to the University of Incarnate Word. Anybody know where that is? No. Well done. Thank you very much. San Antonio, Texas. He had come out of the Delaware Wing T high school offense, so you never saw him throw the ball. He goes there, tears it up, transfers to Washington State, tears it up, is going to go into the draft last year. And then Miami comes in with an NIL of, well, we got $4 million. Okay, I'm going to Miami. And it was a great move for him because that allowed him to climb in the draft. And that's one of the things we've seen in recent years. Zach Wilson, coming out of BYU, was considered a 3rd round, 4th round pick before his senior year, number 2 overall in the draft. Joe Burrow, coming out of LSU and Ohio State before that, again, had a 3rd, 4th round grade going into his last year, number 1 pick overall. Staying and playing can help these guys in a big way. Cam Ward did it and has risen to number 1 in the draft. I think he's a heck of a player, heck of a prospect. I think we've got to kind of chill on comparing them all. Well, in this class, he would have been, well, he's not in that class. Doesn't matter. He's top quarterback. Shedeur Sanders is a heck of a player. And as many great things his name gives him, I think there are a number of people who are like, man, I hope that Sanders kid goes down the tubes. Because people don't feel great. They don't like his dad, or they don't like this, they don't like that. He's had to fight that the entire time, but when you watch him play, he is a good football player. Plays well from the pocket, plays the game from the neck up, has enough arm to make the throws you need. And by the way, elevated Jackson State, elevated Colorado, made them both viable programs. And then, of course, Jackson Dart starts at USC. He's from Utah, goes to USC, ends up at Ole Miss. I don't know how many people have ever been to Oxford, Mississippi, but I played in the SEC at Tennessee. A kid coming from USC and Utah at Oxford, Mississippi, he's going to be met with a lot of suspicion day one. Let me just tell you. I went to Tennessee from the state of New York, and I was a damn Yankee until I became a starter, and then I was just a Yankee. All right? So he gets there, wins over that team, wins over that program, wins over that state, and plays really well. I like all of them. I think it's going to be interesting tonight because I won't be surprised if Cam Ward goes number 1 to Tennessee, Cleveland passes on a quarterback, New York Giants pass on a quarterback, New Orleans passes on a quarterback at 9. Your Steelers are sitting there at 21. Everyone expects it. I wouldn't be surprised if you don't go quarterback.
You think they actually go quarterback?
No, I say I'd be surprised if you don't.
Oh.
It would not shock me if you didn't go quarterback. Would not be surprised, ultimately, if a couple of teams at the top of the board trade back into the first round. And that's when we see Dart come off the board. That's when we see Shedeur come off the board. And the last one is Dart could come off the board before Shedeur. That could be really interesting tonight. Not for Shedeur.
No,
but for us doing the TV.
For content purposes.
For content. And that's the thing for me. I don't want to see it. These guys, first round picks, had their draft stories. I was a no round pick. I didn't get picked. I didn't have a draft party. I couldn't name all the guys that went from me because we'd be here all day. It'd be like me reading from the Dead Sea Scrolls, okay? I don't make it in the NFL. I have to make it another way. But I watch these guys apply their craft, hone their craft, master their craft, because it's not just going out there and what we see on Sunday. It's all the days leading up to Sunday, including the off season, including getting their bodies right, coming back from surgeries, continuing to work on the fundamentals that made them great in the first place, adding new things to their game as they go along, finding different ways to train, to make things better for them. I know we see Sunday and we appreciate what they do there. I just want you all to remember when you see Cam Heyward play and you see Eric Armstead play, when Max Starks was playing, what they did to get to those Sundays. That's what you don't see, but it's just like you do in your own lives. To make your jobs better, to make your lives better, you have to do the extras. These guys do the extras all the time.
Appreciate that. I do have a gripe, though, with every scouting program. Why do we compare people?
Oh, the comp?
The comps are one of the worst things, I feel like, because Cam Ward, right? I've seen people compare him to Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
No, it's not fair. And by the way, have you seen other comps?
Yes.
Travis Hunter, I saw, got Justin Jefferson on offense, and he got Champ Bailey on defense. And I'm like, that's pretty hefty comp, right? Yeah, it's hard to live up to that.
It is. With Cam Ward, you've got the comp there to talk about with Ben. Mm-hmm. Steve McNair is a big comp that's really starting to emerge. I think that's a better comp than it is Ben, especially size-wise, how they play. Some people wanted to go Mahomes. I was like, okay, we need to pump the brakes there.
Wow.
All right, because he's got to go it. But it's style. The reason people do comps is an innocent reason, but it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
We do comps because when we go into a scouting room and we say, and you're bringing and you're presenting the player you're talking about, okay, I've got Cam Heyward, blah, 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 out of Ohio State. He's this, he's this, he's this, he's this, he's this. Who is he? Someone will say, okay, who's he look like? Who's he remind you of? Because that gets a fix in their mind on who you're talking about now as you go into it. And then as you go, that scout has brought you Cam Heyward. Well, we have a cross-check. There's going to be another scout that comes in who didn't scout you your entire career. He's going to watch your film. He's going to come back and go, well, I've got a different comp. This is what I see. And then you end up debating it and hashing it out and drafting you in the first round and going off from there. But the comps can be too rich.
Yeah.
The comps can be too poor. And think about this. That LSU team with Burrow, and we're talking about Justin Jefferson. Jefferson goes 22nd. He goes after receivers. Like, he's going to be talking about who went ahead of him.
Yeah.
And he's like, I was right here. I was right there. Okay? I can see Jamar Chase, but Jalen Reagor from TCU went ahead of him. So he's going to have a conversation about that.
I'm curious, everyone loves the first round, right? Give me a prospect in day 2, 3 that you really like that think could be a Pro Bowler.
Ooh, now we're getting to be fun.
Yeah,
right?
I want to get in the weeds with you on this.
Okay, well, there's an easy one for me, and there is not just recency, but school bias. James Pierce from Tennessee. Because I don't think he's going to go in the first round as an edge rusher. But he has the talent to become that guy if he wants it and goes out and gets it. Speed rush, agility, the whole thing. He can go out and get that done, and he can make those types of plays. I'm eager to see this linebacker named Danny Stutzman from Oklahoma because he reminds me of Leo Chanel. From see, I'm doing a comp game, right? Didn't he just tell me not to do that?
Yes. He said about you hated it.
He reminds me of Leo Chanel, but he's 20 pounds lighter. So that's going to be interesting to see. All their comps are almost exact. If you overlay their times, their 40s, their weightlifting, their height, everything except about 20 pounds is almost exactly the same. And it's in the style of play. Both of them, when they hit people go backwards, the whole deal. He ran better than you thought. I'm eager to see if he's going to become that guy that you green dot, put in the middle of your defense, and off you go from there. So I'm excited about that. The last one's going to be Benjamin Morrison, the corner out of Notre Dame, who I think would have a first-round grade if he hadn't been hurt. 2 hip injuries, just came back, had his medical recheck, and by the way, guess when his pro day was? Monday.
Oh, wow.
He just had it Monday because of that time. Because of injuries. I was told it went very well. Any other year, we're talking about him to me with Will Johnson, Jahdae Barron, Trey Amos, all the other corners.
You have any draft horror stories?
Yeah, there's always a few of those. There's always a few. Most of them concern the interviews and the meetings that you have. Because a lot of times at the combine, and then when the teams get a chance, when you're at these things, you get a 20-minute meeting with each player, 15-minute meeting with each player. They really bang do you remember this at all at the combine? They bang a gong and a bell to change. It's like speed dating. Ding, 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 next. Go on to your next place. And they're in there, and the stories that come out of there when you ask kids different things, just always remember this, youngsters, okay? If an adult asks you a question, they typically know the answer before, and that's why they ask the question.
That's great advice.
Right? It's like lawyers, okay? If they head up there and they ask you, and where were you on the night of the 24th? They know where you were on the night of the 24th. So the idea of now fabricating an answer and changing it, and I can't tell you all of the great stories, but every year when you sit around with the scouts and people afterwards, they're just shaking their heads like the more creative they get, the worse it is. Just tell us the truth, and off we go from there. So that's typically where most of it comes from.
Oh, my gosh. I don't even remember. I'm wondering if I said anything stupid back then.
No, you won the first round. You're okay. Yeah. You're okay.
Fox Creative.
This is advertiser content from Verizon Business.
Hey, Vinny, you know the draft isn't the only exciting thing happening this April.
Yep, Verizon Small Business Days are back, now through the 27th. It's the perfect time to level up your business with the latest tech. They've got experts ready to give you personalized advice and some great deals just for you and your business.
So if you've got a small business, you need to get in on Verizon Small Business Days.
And the best part? Their experts are right in your neighborhood, ready to help whenever you need them.
Because just like in the draft, having the right team makes all the difference.
Exactly. So don't miss out on this. Book your appointment today.
Verizon Small Business Days are happening now through April 27th. Call 1-800-483-4428 or visit verizon.com/smallbusiness for more info. What are you waiting for?
I want to ask you, what's going to be the best pick and team combo together? Like, you look at the player and say, this is the ultimate best fit for that guy.
If O'Marion Hampton, the running back from North Carolina, goes to Denver at 20 and there's no movement, boom, that's absolutely perfect. If Colston Loveland, the tight end from that school up north, as you guys like to say, goes to the Los Angeles Chargers at 22, boom, that's almost perfect. That's like central casting right there, okay? Last year, Bo Nix going to Denver with Sean Payton, that was central casting. That was like Drew Brees light. Yeah. Here's my guy, and you saw how that played out. Those would be two right off the top of my head that I think would just be absolutely perfect. And last but not least, let's say the Eagles at 32 don't make a move, which they typically don't in this situation. They kind of let the board come to them. If an SEC big-time player drops to 32 and goes to the Eagles again, that would be it. Could that be Jahad Campbell, the linebacker out of Alabama? That would be, okay, well, remember Nolan Smith? Yeah. He dropped and was just sitting there for them. Played pretty well for him down in the stretch it in the Super Bowl. Those are kind of central casting things that happen, and you just kind of see how it plays out.
I want to ask you, you're pretty lucky, and you have a really cool gig, and I love your job. But man, you got Madden. He is the voice of Madden. Imagine that. Kids, I know you guys have played Madden plenty of times, but hearing your voice, do you have any favorites, go-to phrases you have when you do that?
From what I've been told, my favorite, the one that drives people crazy is when you play Madden, you don't really play it like a normal game. You play it with a lot more reckless abandon. Okay? And so my partner, Brandon Gaudin, who does the play-by-play, you'll hear on Madden, it's 4th and 37, backed up on their own 17. I'm going for it, right? I'm going for it. And I'm going to do a double reverse, whatever. And while you're contemplating what you're going to do, here comes my voice. Brandon, I can't believe they're going to go for it. I don't understand what they are thinking right now. And I get that from more people. Like I talked to the Haddonfield High School football team one year. Yeah. In preseason, I get up there and do my thing, get done. Any questions? Yes. Why do you yell at me all the time when I'm playing Madden? I'm just trying to have a good time, and you're yelling at me not to go for it. So I think that's kind of what has become my albatross. I'm like, but it's 4th and 44. What are you doing here?
I got a question.
Go ahead.
I want you to take the analyst hat off. You said you're a University of Tennessee alum. Nico, what happened?
I don't have the full story. I know what I've read. I haven't even talked to my people at Tennessee because I'm trying to get ready for the draft. But I think it's the story that if you love college football, you're going to see more of this as we go along. The NIL, you have a contract, you're paying a certain amount of money. People are going to want to renegotiate, no different than an NFL player who feels like he's outplayed his contract. I want to do that. The flip side is you have an agreement, you have a deal. Best I can tell is simply this. Tennessee cut a deal with Nico when he was in high school. Started there. The NIL was legal in California. He didn't even play his senior year. He took the Tennessee money, didn't play, didn't risk injury, went on. Now, if the story is true that he and his family wanted to renegotiate, okay, I get that part. But when you're 18, 17 to 22 years old and you don't show up for practice and you don't answer your coach's calls, it's still a world where the adults still have more stroke than you do. Okay, fine. You're going to leave. You're going to go now. He's going to go to UCLA. I wish the young man nothing but luck. I don't think he's going to make $2.4 million at UCLA as he was making at Tennessee. Yeah. But hopefully it pays off for him down the road. You just hate to see how it goes. But I will tell you this. This is the high-profile one that we all know about. I will tell you that behind the scenes, this is going on all the time. I know of a big-time, you darn defensive lineman, a big-time defensive tackle goes and sees his coach 2 days before the spring game and says, hey, coach, just want to let you know I'm making X here, as you well know. I can make Y at this other school. If you just get me to that number, coach, I'm staying. Coach, old school coach. Coach says, well, Charles, That's fine, but we got the spring game in a couple days. We say we come back Monday and talk about it. Coach gets up, thinks the meeting is pretty successful. Realized kid didn't get out of his chair. Coach, we need to talk about this now. Otherwise, I'm not playing in that spring game. Are you going to match this number or not? Coach went old school and said, well, fine, son, if that's the way it is, then you just go to that other school. And lo and behold, he went to the other school. Now, that's never hit the newspaper. People don't know about it. Just trust me on this one. This is happening more than you know. This is happening everywhere. And I'm not saying that the kids are doing anything wrong. This is where we are. Hey, if I can make more money somewhere else, if I have a regular job and you're going to pay me more money, there's a pretty good chance I'm going to take that job. It's just how it is. But some of them are more high profile than others. The quarterback, the situation, the story. We were in the playoff last year. Whammo. The perfect storm happened. But I'm telling you, the D tackle never got out of his chair. Man. Now, you remember when you were playing?
I wish I got this at Iron.
Right?
Only thing I got was a CC's Pizza gift card for $5. So
I think about it all the time very quickly. How many people remember the movie Varsity Blues?
Of course.
All right? Do you remember when Billy Bob had his concussion?
Yes.
Right? And he comes in. Now, he hadn't played well. Lance got his knee torn up and the whole thing, right? And John Boyd's the head coach, and he comes in. Coach, you want to see me? And he goes to sit down. Remember he goes to sit down? And the coach is like, no, stand up. And then he says, Coach, he says, son, you are bleeping up my world right now. You start getting in gear or get out of here. And that was the end of the meeting. Those were the meetings we went to. Sitting down, having a conversation. I don't remember that meeting ever when I was playing ball.
I didn't have that type of pool.
I don't remember that
didn't go down like that. Last question before Hayden's going to wrap up with your 2-minute drill. What's your favorite what-if moment in college football?
Favorite what-if moment?
Yes.
Well, we talked about one of them beforehand.
Yeah.
What if Ohio State and Michigan had rematched in 2007, I believe?
Yeah, 2007
to the early 2008 for the national championship. They played a great game at the end of the year. I think it was a 3-point ball game. Mm-hmm. That's the game you said that got you
I went there, and that's why I went to Ohio State.
That's why you went to Ohio State?
Yes. Just watching that game was unbelievable.
You realize just how massive that was. And Florida ended up getting the nod and ended up being Ohio State and won the national championship. But what if we had gotten that rematch and had that a second time, this time for a national championship? Because we've had them before. Florida and Florida State. Mm-hmm. Florida State beat Florida late in the year. Somehow it worked out. They rematched in the Sugar Bowl back before BCS, back before college football playoff. Florida wins that game, ends up, taking it from Florida State. Those types of things are big. And last but not least, Florida State and their wide right field goals. What if those field goals had been made? Bobby Bowden would have 6 national championships. And rest his soul. Because I remember he said after the second, when they said, Bobby, what are you going to look back on your career? He said, on my gravestone, it's going to say wide right.
All right, Charles, before we get out of here, we're going to do a 2-minute drill with you, all right? I'm going to ask you some questions. You give me quick answers. If you could narrate one non-sports moment in history like it was a game-winning touchdown, what would it be?
I'd like to narrate Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech.
Okay. That's a good answer. Who's one player you loved before everyone else caught on?
George Kittle.
Really?
Yeah, really liked George Kittle coming out. I knew his dad. His dad's an offensive line coach. He was an offensive line coach at Oklahoma. So I knew him in advance. I just really liked it.
What's your favorite football conspiracy theory?
Let's just start with recent. The Kansas City Chiefs get all the calls.
Oh, okay.
I believe that.
Well, I know he believes it.
He believes it.
I hear it every time I get on the phone with him, okay?
Kansas City Chiefs get all the calls. Yeah. By the way, I'm just going to let you know, pick your sport. Whoever's at the top of the food chain, they get all the calls.
Yes.
Michael Jordan got all the calls. All right, when he was top food chain. If you breathe bad air on him, that was a foul on you.
Rank these sideline nightmares. Freezing cold weather, bad coffee in the booth, or a coach giving you nothing in the pregame interview?
Freezing cold weather. A coach giving you nothing in the pregame interview, standard. That's just 101. If you get anything, you're in shock. So you're not getting that. Bad coffee, you can work around that one pretty well. But freezing cold, and by the way, if you are in the booth doing a game versus sideline, You are as cold in the booth as they are on the sideline because the booth is always open.
Oh.
Okay, we're protected. There's a booth, top, behind us, sides. But when the game starts, the windows are open. And I've been lucky enough to do a couple of Packers games here in single-digit weather. And the first time I thought it was the coolest thing. I was like, this is so cool. I'm at Lambeau Field. Like, this is unbelievable. Coach Lombardi, this is great. Single digits. Midway in the first quarter, I was like, this is not good. All right, enough of this. I never want to do it again. But I did 2 games here like that. And then we did the Bills-Patriots wild card playoff game in Buffalo a few years ago, and it was -7 that night. And the heat, we had heaters, we had everything, right? 10 minutes before kickoff, I'm doing this, and I'm feeling nothing. So I grabbed the guy who runs our booth, a great colleague, Jose. I said, Jose. I said, I don't. He's like, ooh. And he keeps going to each of them. And you know that look, and he's touching all of them. And he plugs something, unplugs. He turns back and looks at me. He goes, brother, Western New York just won. You guys are not going to have any heaters tonight. They all froze before kickoff. We had no heaters up in the booth. And we relayed that to our sideline guy, and I still hear him laughing.
What's one underrated position group you think deserves more love from fans and media?
Definitely linebackers these days. Linebackers used to get it all the time. They used to be the people, the Ray Nitskys of the world. Heck, they were glamour. Now we treat them like, prior to last year, running backs.
Yeah.
You know, interchangeable, who those guys, what have you. And they're having to do just about everything out there in most cases.
All right, let's give a round of applause for Charles.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Charles. Thanks for coming on, man. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you. Thank you guys so much. Stick around because now it's time for the off-field and in the office presented by Verizon Business. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to start with Green Bay Packer and Michigan legend Charles Woodson, who translated his NFL success into the launching of his wine company with Intercept Wines in 2019, a partnership with O'Neill Vintners and Distillers. His brand offers affordable, high-quality wines from California's Central Coast, including all wines you could possibly want. I also know he's got a great bourbon, too. So Charles is really crushing it off the field, and he crushed it against Ohio State. That's why I picked him.
I hate that you...
Yeah. There he is. Hey, we got Charles Woodson right there. There you go. Right there.
Charles Woodson in the flesh.
Yeah, there you go. Go blue, too.
You didn't have to say all that. You didn't have to do that. Just a little bit of history behind it. With this segment, we're calling out all NFL players who had great careers on the field and then pivoted to winning mentalities and business success. I first got to go with Peyton Manning. Everybody knew of the sheriff, the guy who was throwing all the touchdowns on the field. But then to flip that and create a media conglomerate in Omaha Studios, Omaha Productions, they're doing a lot of great work. I think they've got over 30 different TV series and live events. They have the Manning cast on ESPN as well. And they recently sold for 10% stake at a valuation of over $750 million. So round of applause for Peyton. He's doing it right now.
And I got another one, too. I'm going to go Pat McAfee, who transformed his all-pro punter into a widely successful Pat McAfee show. He obviously works with ESPN. He does the WWE, and he does so much of the other things. So Pat has also built an incredible brand on the field and off the field as well.
My last one, I'm going to go with the Darth Vader of the NFL for all those years, Tom Brady. Wow, we don't get any boos here? I thought we were in Green Bay. Okay, there we go. We can still boo him, okay? He's retired, but we can still boo him. He has built an impressive business portfolio, including his TB12 wellness brand, which recently merged with Noble to create a complete wellness company. He also invested in multiple sports teams, including Las Vegas Raiders, Las Vegas Aces, Birmingham City FC, and even launched Team Brady in electric boat racing E1 series, which won the world championship. He also is the Fox Sports lead analyst on NFL broadcasts. So that, I believe, is pretty special. I think that's all we're trying to attain as players. The only thing I hate about this, there's not enough D linemen we really recognize in this space. That's just me being selfish, but we got some work to do.
That's on you, though. That's your position group. Why don't you start helping?
Oh, I guess I'm not helping.
I mean, come on. You controlled who we talked about today, so you didn't pick any D linemen. That's on you.
I didn't see any D linemen.
Well, you need to have a meeting. Let's go to my favorite segment of the show.
All right.
Ask Cam anything. So we've asked everybody to submit some questions. We've got some from our Instagram. So it's Doyolito wants to know, what is your favorite team to play against on the road because you like the city?
Well, Baltimore's definitely not my favorite. I'm afraid they're going to spit in my food or poison my food. Funny story about that. We were actually in the playoff game, and we had ate at the same restaurant we did the previous time, but then a couple of our players were throwing up before the game. It was like, I remember walking into the locker room and just a lot of guys being on the IVs, and I was sick as well, but even before that. So Baltimore is not my favorites. I would say New York is probably one of my favorites, going to the city. There's a lot of times, a lot of guys, when you go on road trips, you pack them in a bus as soon as you get in, head down to the city, find a good restaurant, and chart back. I feel like we went down to a cool restaurant, and then we actually took the subway back to our hotel. A little scary, a lot of interesting people, and I think Ryan Shazier was like telling us where to go, and he is the worst with directions. So we're gonna ask him about that in a couple days. We're gonna have a draft party in Pittsburgh, but yeah, that was New York's probably my favorite city to play in.
Time out. You were poisoned in Baltimore?
Yeah. I wasn't poisoned, but some of my players were.
Okay, good. I'm going to butcher this next one from Sean Mead. Bulbasaur, Charmander, or Squirtle? What does that mean?
So those are Pokemon.
Okay.
Bulbasaur, Charmander, or Squirtle.
Okay.
We can get he's not good with pronunciations.
Don't know who any of those people are.
I'd probably choose Charmander.
Why?
That's the fire Pokemon, and it grows into one of my favorite characters, Charizard. You need to know these things. You can't not know.
I want to ask the crowd something. Is it weird that a 35-year-old man knows this much about Pokemon?
They're all saying yes. I can't believe they're all agreeing with me.
It's a little strange. It's a tad weird. It's a little weird. Let's go to the next one. Give me your all-time Ohio State D lineman. Four-man D line.
So, man, can I do 5?
Sure.
All right, Bill Willis, because that is like the GOAT in my eyes at Ohio State.
I'm sorry, I don't know who Bill Willis is.
You don't know who Bill Willis is? That's one of the greatest D linemen. If you have a chance, look up Bill Willis. They have awards named after him at Ohio State. That's how. And then, then it goes the Bosas on, you have Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa. I guess you got to put Chase Young there. I said myself.
Wow, you actually put yourself on there, huh?
I guess.
Okay, well. All right, Brian Kamen wants to know, what's your projection for Cam Scatabo in the NFL?
Early second round. I think he plays with a lot of energy. It's hard with the running backs. I would the smart thing to do with running backs, if you don't want to get into a negotiation with a running back because you feel like the market is already set, draft him in the first round, because then you have him for an extra year with the 5th-year option, and then you have 2 years of a franchise tag you can also do. But a lot of people don't like to do that because they don't want to even deal with the 5th-year of the option, so I'm expecting him to be in the second round.
Do you think he'll be a good pro?
Yes, very good pro. Can catch out the backfield, plays with a lot of energy, and always falls forward a lot.
Jim Bob wants to know, what hobbies do you have outside of football?
Jim Bob. One is doing the podcast. I love to watch movies. I'm a big fan of going to the movie theaters. You are not. I enjoy a good popcorn and a drink and just watching the previews. I'm kind of a nerd that way. That's about it though.
Would you give Sinners again? How many Heyward heads?
Oh, we're making this segment because we want to display Heyward heads, and that's our rating instead of stars. I gave it 2.5 Heyward heads.
But as we kept talking, you kept lowering the Heyward heads. You did not like Sinners.
2 Heyward heads now.
All right, David T wants to know, what are your thoughts on Lambeau Field, the frozen tundra?
Every time I played here, it's been extremely cold. Last time we played here, not the last time, the one before that, the field was frozen solid before we even got to warm up. And you guys don't really have stands here. That's the crazy thing. It's literally like baseball seats out there. And I just remember everybody sliding across like they were snow angels, and it was a really cool sight to be a part of. I love the history behind some of these old stadiums. I've been pretty lucky to have won at Lambeau. It's a very tough place to play. And that time I'm speaking of, I remember Brett Kiesel, I think, causing the fumble and then picking it up and recovering it. But we were going back and forth. Matt Flynn was the quarterback at the time. It was pretty ugly, though.
How different is Lambeau Field from the newer stadiums like Vegas or LA and stuff like that? How different is it?
It's different. Is it? There is a lot of newer features in the newer stadiums. They have like speaker systems built into the away stadiums. Sometimes you go to these older stadiums, there's not even you can't even put everybody into the showers at the same time. It's like it's very intricate of how some of these places were. You start thinking about how big the athletes have gotten, and you're like, how are more than 5 players supposed to fit in this at a time? And then just you go over. The only thing I don't like about the newer places is there's no history behind it. It's just thrown out there to be some big spectacle, but they don't have the wins. They don't have the success. They don't have the fans that actually show up every week. So I think it's really cool that what Lambeau has here.
All right, last one I got for you. This is from Lewis on Instagram. He wants to know, have you changed your mind about chasing Aaron Rodgers into the darkness retreat to recruit him?
I'll go on a darkness retreat.
Wow, you will. Okay. You heard it here first.
One person said, woo.
Cam's going into the darkness.
No, but, I think it got made too big of a deal. I was just saying, it's a pitch, right? He doesn't need to know where I stand. He needs to know where he stands. So I don't think we need to, draw a line in the sand and say, if Cam goes on this darkness retreat, it's really going to happen. But
what if he said that, though? He's like, no, I need Cam to come get me in the darkness right now. Right now. You got to leave Green Bay, go get him right now.
Well, then I'm pulling him out of the darkness retreat.
Okay, there you go.
All right.
That's all I got for you.
That's all we got. I want to say thank you so much to everybody here for showing up. We were both scared nobody was going to show up, so we were always appreciative of that. Thank you to our amazing guests as well. Thank you to Vox Media. Thank you to Verizon Business for also partnering with us. We are very thankful of everybody's time. I want to make sure I get this right. A big shout out to Verizon Business for the support. We couldn't do this without them. Verizon Business is dedicated to your small business with experts ready to help you when you need them. Whatever your business needs, they've got your back. Make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube. Drop a follow and rating wherever you get your podcasts. And thank you so much for listening. Next week, we are back to our normal Tuesday time with our draft party episode live from Pittsburgh. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Shout out to Verizon Business for making today's show happen. And their small business experts can help you step up your game. Kind of like my coaches used to help me. One of my favorite small businesses is not just football. I'm the owner of it. I think the main thing I've learned is just communication and organization. We were with a bigger team before, but we went off and did our own thing. We've learned it's not always how big your company is, but it's how much you can grow, how much you can affect people, how much you can build community around it. When I look at my mom's business or my wife's business, Align Home and Living, and my mom's is the Heyward House. When you look at those, the thing I'm learning a lot is you got to be willing to say no. You got to be able to have a strong will to have a picture in mind of what you want. I know small business owners are always hustling and looking for ways to level up their business. That's why if you're a small business owner, you're not going to want to miss out on Verizon Small Business Days, April 21st through the 27th. Not only can you get a free tech check and killer deals, but you'll even get advice personalized to your business needs. Call 1-800-483 833-4428 or go to verizon.com/smallbusiness to book your appointment today.